right, today I'm going to talk a little bit about adaptive technology, and I'm specifically going to narrow in on the ALEKS program currently provided through McGraw-Hill Education. The first thing I'm going to talk about is what is adaptive technology and why is it important. So adaptive technology is an educational method of providing instruction and or interventions for students no matter their current level of understanding. This is kind of groundbreaking for teachers because with the number of students that we have, sometimes it is a very daunting task to meet all of these students on their current level of instruction. So that's where adaptive technology steps in and eases the load on teachers. Next, we're going to talk about how adaptive technology works. So this flow here, I'll get into a little bit later, but it has many different methods for assessing the current levels of understanding of students. So in many cases, and including the ALEKS program, the program administers a baseline assessment. So this baseline assessment, students answer questions and the responses dictate the subsequent questions to give an accurate portrayal of the student's current level of functioning. For example, if a student answers incorrectly, the program recognizes that that question is beyond that student's understanding, and they assign the next question on a lower level of cognitive demand. In contrast, if a student correctly answers a question, the program assigns a question of higher cognitive demand. So as you can see, it kind of fluctuates in order to get an accurate representation of what the student knows. They use this data, the programs use this data to provide the targeted instruction for students in their zone of proximal development. Some programs can also align their content to the standards that that state or that district or that school follows to determine gaps, whether that is in lower grade levels or current grade levels. And meanwhile, all of this is going on and students are doing lessons and completing assignments, and the program is consistently monitoring those skills, and they are adjusting the instruction that students are receiving based on what they have shown that they can do. Specifically now, I want to talk about the ALEKS program. The ALEKS program is one that it's a product developed through research at New York University and the University of California, Irvine, and it was actually funded through a grant from the National Science Foundation. ALEKS is pretty incredible. It includes all of the basics that I talked about earlier when I talked about just adaptive technology in general. The one thing about ALEKS that makes it a standout is its advanced artificial intelligence system. So the artificial intelligence system within the ALEKS program is able to pinpoint and diagnose exactly what students know and what they do not know. And as they progress through these lessons, it continually reassesses the students and it categorizes different skill mastery levels to determine the topics that students are able to complete while having prior schema on that. So it will not allow students to complete lessons that are of higher cognitive demand and that they don't have prior understanding to build on, which is pretty awesome because many times standard programs will just assign cookie cutter lessons to students, and if the students don't understand the prior content that builds into that skill, it's going to be very hard for them to create that schema to understand. Nextly is I want to talk about the classroom implementation with ALEKS. So being a third grade teacher, I'm a self-contained classroom, so I teach all skills. This program will be extremely advantageous as an addition to my technology-based instruction. I would use it mostly for my Tier 1 students to propel their learning beyond their grade level expectations, because oftentimes those students are needing more of a challenge. And with the ALEKS program, it would pinpoint that yes, they do know the things that they are required to know at this time, so it would bump them to a higher level of cognitive questioning, which would definitely challenge those learners. In terms for my Tier 2 and Tier 3 students, it would provide a crystal clear explanation of the concept gaps and areas that they need. It would also, this is a big one, the state of Tennessee, students take the NWEA MAPS test, which is also a an adaptive technology that determines how well students are achieving as well as how well they are growing throughout the year. So my students take these tests in reading and math 3 times per year. And according to the research study conducted by Vincent Laverne, the ALEKS classroom usage had a significant impact on the student NWEA MAPS RIT scores. The RIT scores are shown here on this slide from that study. So the national average change was 1.6 points. And for students that completed ALEKS either 31 minutes to 60 minutes and 61 minutes to 90 minutes, those students had an average increase by 2.7 points, which is incredible. So these RIT scores in my district are used to determine if students are making growth throughout the year. And obviously, by this implementation shown in Laverne's study, students are making more than national average growth. So that proves that students make more growth through this product in regards to the MAPS test, which is exactly what my students are tested on. And I would implement this tool not only in the classroom, but also in a home setting so that the students are able to work at their own pace. And it's not necessarily only an at-school activity, but the parents can get involved as well. And the parents can see exactly where their child needs assistance or where their child is excelling. And I think it's just such a powerful tool. In summation, the ALEKS program, I have never been able to physically use it and delve into it, but through all my research, I definitely have an interest in adopting it for my classroom. Granted, there would be funding needed for that. However, I think its benefits definitely prompt the need for it, considering how advanced the artificial intelligence is and how data shown from Vincent Laverne's study proves that it actually does make an impact on student educational performance.